certainly would. I would like to welcome you to the Golf Advisory for the month of June. First item on the agenda, we have a change of a couple additions. If you look down your notes or your under tournaments, Alex is gone, Daryl's going to take that one, and Daryl is not talking about scorecards. That was my error. And if you look on new business, we added, it came in a couple of days ago, the 2024 budgets we need to talk about. So those are the additions to the agenda today. So I'd like the minutes from May 10th of motion to approve them. Okay, Dave, second. Okay. That would be Dave also. Any corrections or additions? If not, let's vote. And I have not heard, Gary Mertz, I think, is traveling, and I have not heard from Mike, so I have neither proxy. Does anybody else have a proxy? Okay, so neither of those proxies are available today. All right, going on from them, golf facilities. Let's start over here with Sheila.
Tanyard Creek, spoke with Hannah. They're continuing to be very busy, and as Daryl mentioned last month, they have nearly 70% of all the buckets in the village. So they're, even today, with their...
You need your microphone, please.
Okay. Huh? Lordy. In any event, they continue to be busy. Today was a little less so than I've seen it when I visited there. But the ground was extraordinarily wet, and bless her heart, she said it has to be mats today. Sorry, folks, but it's going to be mats. And that's a good thing, because when I looked at that ground, it was just soaked to the rafters. Pro shop experience is excellent. The staff is excellent. Always continues that way.
Thank you. Dave.
Okay. Kingswood and Birksdale, pro shop experience. The guys are always great over there, friendly as can be. Merchandise is excellent, well organized at all times as well. The golf carts, as always, are neat and clean, and scorecards are readily available for each course there. The overall golfing experience is good, especially now that we're starting to get some decent grass now in the fairways and stuff with the rain and the warmer weather ahead. So everything's going good.
Okay, thank you. Jerry, we're over to you.
Highlands continues to be very busy also. Their ranges, there's someone on the range all the time. There's one thing I want to commend them for is and it's the only one I've seen, so maybe it's going to be on the other courses too, is their sand bucket, the rack for the bottles right there at the turn where you go to 9 to 10 and get on to number 1. I think that's a big help for them and helping get people to do that, because you can, if you fill all the divots and things that you see as you go around the golf course there, you can use one of those whole ones in 9 holes, and then you can just drop yours off, pick up another one, stick it on the cart and go. And I think that's something everybody ought to think about at all of courses. Not all courses do you have that opportunity to go by that twice. So, but if they can, that would be something that they need to do. But
let me jump on that. The sand bottles are arriving next week. They've been on back order. In fact, we're not getting new ones. We got to find a place that a fleet would return, so we got those. So they're coming in, but that's all we could get, so that's what we're doing. So Highlands got theirs first. It's twofold to that. Greg at Highlands is a guy that can make anything. So he said, what should I do? I said, just make me a big wine rack.
That's
so
exactly
they made a big wine rack, we put sand in it, and it works.
That's exactly.
The deal is to get those, so we've got some on order for the other ones that are out there. You'll see it transition through the whole summer.
Yeah.
As we get them in from the second hand, you'll start to see them out there.
Good, that's good. Like I say, the range is good. The carts continue to be excellent, getting those, and the pro shop is awesome. And I think it doesn't have really a whole lot to do with the golf course, but I think the snack bar, the pizza, all of that stuff is just making a nice experience for people that want to go to Highlands.
Okay. Thank you. Dave?
Well, Scottsdale, I'm a proud papa of Scottsdale. I mean, the course is in such good shape right now. So my hat's off to you and your staff, Kyle. My goodness, it's like a golf course should look like. The grounds are perfect, the grass is perfect, the fairways, the rough even, the greens. I know we're gonna punch those in another week or 10 days, but right now they're really good. Pro Shop is excellent. Megan and her staff do a great job. There's some new people I see hired in there, and they're all catching on quick and doing a great job. Carts are in perfect shape, so no complaints at all about Scottsdale. I do second what Jerry was saying about the sand. That's going to be great, Daryl, to have those at other courses as well. I do see more and more of our patrons, or whatever we call ourselves, using those sand buckets, and I think that's a great thing, and it will help make our fairways even better than they are now.
Okay. Anything else for courses? Thanks, guys, appreciate that. Okay, Keith.
Okay. I will kind of apologize in advance because I got to switch. I had eye surgery done, so I can see everything out there. Just can't see here, so I'm going to be going back and forth, okay? So I apologize for that. So let's, it didn't make the list here, so I'm going to start out with just a general course update. The first, capital projects. Most of our capital, all of our capital projects are completed with the exception of 2 asphalt jobs. One is to do the driveway into Bella Vista Country Club maintenance, and then the village wastewater, and then the garden club deal. That Mac is helping me get that organized. On the golf course end, we have about $35,000 to spend on repairs at Highlands. We're going to be looking at that after we get some new pricing to see how many linear feet we can do, and then Greg will pick out the worst, probably in August when we get around to doing that, because generally it's a little hotter, so there's less play, it's less disruption that way, so that's usually why we wait, and you don't have to worry about rain so much, so they can get in and out of there without tearing things up. So that's the capital that's left. Just generally, greens, I want to talk about, you mentioned aeration. Scottsdale will be the 22nd and 23rd. We were able to move that because we had it originally on the 21st, which is the longest day of golf, so that would have really made it a long day of golf, okay? So we're doing it after that, and then Brittany's the 23rd and 24th. So while we're talking about that right now, can you pull up pictures? I got some pictures of a couple of the greens at Scottsdale from 2 different time frames, and I want to show those to you and then tell you a little bit about what Kyle has planned, and then if you have any questions for specifics, he will be able to answer those. So that is number 16 in about March? Okay. And because we waited, that is number 16 now, which is the one that has the most left, which you can see on that back right. So the plan is, since we're aerifying anyway, we want it to wait for the end, because if you put plugs, you pull all that out. So aerification may help it. Once the aerification is complete, then Kyle will go in and plug the areas that still need to be done. So by July 15th, all being said and done, I know that's a long wait, but considering what that looked like before to where he got it to, it's pretty amazing. And I think Kyle and I have talked about a couple of these greens that have persistently been challenges. We even talked about next year when we put one of the lighter tarps down, and maybe put some straw on those, and then put the heavier ones on top, so we can maybe even eliminate the small amount of damage. I mean, we only had, I don't know, 600 square feet out of a lot. Yeah, so in this climate right here, I've had a lot of people that have come in and asked me if we've given Kyle our increase, because you go south of here and in Oklahoma and everybody's Bermuda greens, they didn't come out as good as those. So congratulations for that, Kyle. You did a great job. So then we have another green here, the putting greens. The other one I think will be the next one. That was the putting green. That looked worse than the other one, but look at it now. These are Scottsdale. These are Bermuda greens. There it is now. So actually aerification will probably get 90% of that, and there may be a few plugs, and then we're moving on. So I just wanted to point that out while we were talking about greens. Brittany has one green, number 8, that we've never had an issue with 8 before. It's a different, it's not Champions, it's one of the other ones that's supposed to be more winter hardy. I don't know what happened to that one, but it didn't survive. So we're building a new nursery over there as one of our projects. So in about July the 10th, we're gonna get some sprigs, and we're gonna re-sprig number 8, put it on a temporary and grow it back in while we sprig the nursery green at the same time. And then in the future, we have plugs there, because they don't have a green, nursery green there for Bermuda. They would have to go all the way over to Kyle's, and then he doesn't want to give it to them either, so that's another part of it. So they're gonna have their own by the end of this year, so that's important. Another thing's gonna be happening, Kyle's gonna be busy out there. He's got some trees and stuff we're gonna be taking down. And we're also gonna repair the last of some flood damage from the March flood, the cart path area there below 4T. And what we're doing, we're gonna start that work same time we're closed for aerification anyway. And we're gonna do the tree work that day as well. So we'll minimize the disruption, but I will tell you, we'll be open again on Saturday and Sunday. We might have to go around to get to it because they can't get the concrete work done in 2 days. They may have to come back and pour concrete on Monday and possibly Tuesday. If they do, the part 3 will be closed those 2 days, and we'll have to play the next hole from in front because we have to use the bridge.
Question about the trees. When we take trees down, are we planting new trees?
So
Is there any way we could put that in a budget to plant new trees when we lose some? Because
the ones we're taking down now are not key
they're not key.
at all.
Okay.
They're like the big sycamore that's to the right there of 5T out of play
Oh, yeah.
along the creek. Those are
Yep.
the ones we're doing that we
Okay.
take down.
Because I noticed on 17, all the ones that line Scottsdale.
Yeah, those are all on Bella Vista property, city. They're in the easement, they're not ours.
They're not
On the
yours.
side of the ditch,
Yeah.
between the ditch and the road, that's not ours.
Because I'm afraid with the vines growing on those, and there's some dead ones already, and so maybe we need to get a hold of our new mayor and talk to him about
That's a good idea. I wish you
getting
luck
some new
with that.
trees.
Yeah. So, that's where we are with that. So that's the last of the flood repair. Most of the flood repair didn't cost us a lot of money. This one's gonna cost us about $9,500 to do it. However, we're gonna go in, because that one has been washing over and washing out every time we have rains. Because when they redid the road above you there on that, whatever that street is on top, they funneled a lot more water a lot quicker down there, so we get more runoff. So we're gonna do the thing we talked about in the past, where we do the path and we do the side, where it can't get under and blow it out, it'll go over and around it. So it's worked everywhere else we've done it. So it's a little more concrete, a little more expensive, but it's a little more permanent. So it'll be a better repair. Okay, let's see. We're also working on the tee box, the red tee at Highlands. We totally blew that one up. We've sodded that one 17T. I'm sorry, not 17. We've had to sod that one at least 5 or 6 times. It's sand and gravel. It just doesn't work. So we took it out. We're putting topsoil in there like we did the other new tees we built over there. And then the process, it would have been done today if it hadn't rained. Last night it would have been ready to sod. It will get sodded after a couple weeks after it settles. We were gonna make it a little bigger and recenter it. That hole is an interesting design. It's deceiving. I would never have believed it if we hadn't shot grades. So the red tee is 2 feet higher than the tee behind it. And then it's 2 feet higher than the next one. The back tee is 6 to 8 feet lower than that red tee, which is not how you normally want to do it. So we had to go a little lower on the new tee and not put it exactly where we wanted it, so it wouldn't just get in your way visually. The problem was, whoever did that hole, they started building tees on the wrong end, it looks like. You always start at the back and get your elevation and adjust. The deceiving thing about it is it's uphill too. The hole is uphill, so that made it more difficult. So we're gonna work around that. We'll have a better tee. It's gonna be 3 times as big as it was. We get a lot of play on those, so that's gonna be really good. We just decided to bite the bullet on that one while we had an opportunity to do it in-house. And I think that's everything about golf course, what's going on. Maybe this is a good time somebody wants to ask a question about what's going on before we get into these other 2 items.
One of the questions I get a lot from the membership is fairway length.
We're gonna talk about that.
Okay, then,
So I guess we can go to the next one, is the collar repairs. We are scheduled now for the 10th for the contractor to get here that we waited on. The reason we wanted to do a contractor there is because in-house, we already did some of the T-box work, because you can do that and take 3 or 4 or 5 days to do it. Well, to do the collar, you gotta pretty much knock it out or you close the hole. So we decided it would be best, most economical for us and from Play to hire a contractor. He was gonna be here mid-June, his projects got reined in, so he's coming in July. The plus to that is we've probably grown in enough that we've saved at least 3 truckloads of sod, which is about $15,000. And the labor that would have been with another 15 or 20. So by having to be patient and live with it, not necessarily saying that's the way to do it, but it's gonna pay off for us in the long run from a cost perspective. So, and it's just worked out that way, but that is a very detailed work too, to match up to the green in those areas. So we don't have as much in-house experience to do it, definitely not as quick. So that's why that work will be started on July the 10th. And we've worked with Golf Ops. There'll be a schedule, July schedule will show which courses we're starting with. They'll each be closed 2 days. First day they'll cut it, second day they'll lay it, then we open back up and we'll just move down the line. We do not have to do any more work at Scottsdale, we do not have to do any more work at Dogwood. So it's gonna start Burksdale, Kingswood, Bella Vista Country Club, and Highlands will be the last. That's gonna be the schedule. So it's gonna take about 6 days for the contractor, maybe 8, as long as we don't have any weather.
It's just gonna be closed down 1 day, and then did you say a half
2
day?
days.
Or 2 full days, okay,
2 full
because
days.
you'd said a half day before.
So Trevor sent out some new July schedules to the golf groups and everything. They all went out literally a couple hours ago, so you'll see the updated schedule.
And we told the contractor to bring enough people to do that 10,000, the truckload is 10,000 square feet where he could do it in a day. I anticipate that schedule will not work as great as it sounds on paper, and we'll probably end up having to come back somewhere and interrupt it again, but it would be a very small thing, and maybe it would just be one hole at that point. Because the problem with this is it's everywhere. So they work here, then they gotta move over here, then they gotta move over there. So that's gonna be nice when it gets done. It's been tough for everybody to look at, including the staff, and then having to play on it. It's not ideal either, but we're gonna get that taken care of. So that's the update on that. So now to yours on fairway height. So fairway height, what people want for the height of cut is a little bit like how much spice you want in your gumbo. Everybody has an opinion on what that height needs to be. So what we do here is we determine, based on our golf course that we're talking about, what kind of grass is there. If it's more common or 419 or whatever it is, we come up with what we feel to be the best height of cut and make that grass the best it can be with what we got to work with. So each golf course is different. Some of them can only cut twice a week because they get more shotguns. Some of them can cut 3 times a week because they get less shotguns in some weeks. So that, how often it's mowed, the type of grass, all of that comes into play. With that being said, a standard that's pretty acceptable for most players, okay, is at 1/2 inch. That's pretty much the standard in the industry, 1/2 inch. Tour players like it closer because they want to clip it. We don't want to do that here. So our lowest cut right now is 550, just above a 1/2 inch. We go all the way up to almost 1 inch at Burksdale. There's a long story about that Burksdale thing, and we went through this test, and problem when you start getting above 5/8, it becomes rough. It doesn't become fairway. So right now we have Scottsdale, Bella Vista Country Club, and Dogwood mowing, and Brick mowing at 550. Burksdale's at, I told you, 875. Kingswood is 625. And Highlands, he's mowing at 750 right now to finish growing them in because he has more common probably than anyone. Kyle has a lot of common too, but he's been really working hard, and he's got an advantage. He didn't get all that car traffic all winter. So that's the other piece, the fairway height. We get this, I can go back and show you emails every year I've been here about now. We get asked about fairway height because it's coming out of dormancy, it's not growing. So some places we're not to that height. Okay, so That's the long and the short of it, so I'll answer any specific questions.
Keith, I think the concern comes especially in, like, say, October, November, right before it goes dormant. The membership, a lot of them, not all of them complain, but the general feel I get is that it's too short in the winter, way too short in the winter, and when it goes dormant, it's just like hitting off the ground. So is there any way to plan for that? I know you've been hit with early, frosts and et cetera, but is there any way to start planning for that in September, where you start cutting them a little bit higher, and by the end of October, early mid-November, they're at an okay height that will withstand the winter?
You have a standard, if you're mowing at 600 and it's pretty uniform, if you wait till September to raise the height of cut much at all, it's just gonna get real stringy, and you're not gonna get what you're looking for. You can't, we do raise the height every year, but we start 1st of August, actually. And if it's common, I don't care what height you cut it at, car traffic's gonna beat it to the ground.
Yeah.
If you look at some of our other grasses that we put out there, at a 1/2 inch it'll survive. So it's really, unfortunately for us, it's really more of the turf that we have. Short story is though, we do raise the height starting in August.
Okay.
So we have been doing that ever since I've been here. And we actually get up to 1 inch on some of them, but they quit growing. Here, actually, September slowed down quite a bit. If you have a dry fall like last year, and you just, it won't do anything. And that's the other thing, we're gonna have a superintendent's meeting, we have our meeting on Friday. We're gonna talk about these heights, because right now it's great because it's raining. But when it starts getting hot and getting dry, we're gonna wanna bump up, and we're gonna talk about what we think's best going forward.
Okay.
Kyle, you wanna explain to him anything you're doing different than that on your fairways, or did I miss something? Okay. Didn't speak out of turn either, I hope. So that's kind of where we are. It's, that's one that comes up every year twice, just like the old days, the overseed came up every year twice. So that's my report, if anybody has any other
Keith,
questions.
I have one question. On number 8 at the Highlands, the the new tee box, and I love those new tee boxes. Everybody that plays on those really like them because they've opened up. But getting out there, is there still any plan of making a cart path out in there, or keep that from wearing so much?
What we decided was to watch one summer to see what the traffic pattern does. And if we think there's a wear pattern that justifies it. The problem is, wherever you stop that path there, you're gonna get bare areas, and that is far enough out there that a lot of people off the back tees will be hitting there.
Right.
So the scattering traffic, in my opinion, so far has been better than trying to intelligently. But we're looking at it.
I want to jump on that because they do a great job, and Greg does on that one. But I had a lot of people ask, Keith, Greg, myself would come in, why did we keep the old tee box near the cart path? The red tee box near the, why did we keep that? I said, because when it's carts on path, they till from there. Well, that's a great idea. So he did a good job on that. And if it continues the way it goes, if you're looking at it right now, and I've been watching it, I live on that course, drive around quite a bit. If that way stays decent all year, we don't even need a cart path there. We'll see what happens. And then winter maybe, it's there. We'll see what happens. To watch it, I think it's gonna be a great idea.
Yeah, it's a little bit like the stakes we talk about, put out in front, to where people go right up to it, and then the scatter thing does not really work. It sounds great in theory, but it does not work. I've seen it, even the places that do the post, and to do those posts, Pinnacle does those posts, and they have one guy, that's all he does. I don't have anybody to do that.
Any other questions for Keith?
Keith, one other thing, I mentioned this before, the sand buckets on the par 3s at Dogwood. There's one for each one of them. I think everybody else has one for each tee box, and if it's over on the blue or the wherever, and you're on the whites or the reds, which they're going to take more damage than probably the blues back there, but we still need some there.
That's easy to fix. I'll get with Scott tomorrow.
Yeah, and you did a good job. They had them out there the next day when I mentioned it before, but we just had one.
Okay, any more for Keith? Okay, let's move to Daryl.
All right, first of all, I'm gonna give a shout out before I get to my numbers, which are crazy, incredible, what's happening. I don't get to play golf very often. I actually got out of Bella Vista to a Northwest Arkansas golf course just last weekend with my family because the kids were playing in a golf tournament, and I was absolutely, my eyes were wide open. I just kind of like, what is going on? Tom, if you could click on either one of the pictures that say DM on there. Yeah, that one. All right, so we're gonna have a look at there. There is Winter Kill on a Northwest Arkansas golf course that's not even 35 to 45 minutes away. Their dues are extremely more than ours, more expensive than ours. That's 30 yards from the green. They've staked it off, and the green you can barely see in there, and it is just dead grass. They are not putting sod back in. They're putting those posts up, and the membership have to walk around it. If their ball lands in it, they've got to go back and drop it and play it again. So we're busy playing. They've got tournaments going on, and I'm watching. I'm like, wow. Just my eyes were opened. If you wouldn't mind going to the next one, and you'll see that second one right there. That one goes all the way back there to, you can't see on the bottom side of the right, that goes back to 70 yards. So if we're playing on an uphill slope, we are so fortunate, and I'm gonna say this, to have superintendents and a crew like Keith has that, one, reacts fast, sees what we have, gets it done, and doesn't put rope up like that to stop our membership from playing 70 yards out. I mean, that's crazy, and that's incredible. I mean, my eyes were open. We get out, we get stuck in our Bella Vista bubble sometimes, and when we get out, I'm one of them. I got out, looked at them like, wow, look at this. That is a top golf course that plays a lot, and that's what their membership have to deal with. So we're very fortunate. Thank you, Keith, and please tell your crew on Friday, you guys do a great job. So I want to give a shout out. That's what I've got there. All right, let's move on to something cool. And Keith didn't know about those pictures. He hadn't seen them, so he's looking and going, wow, okay. So Kyle,
Glad it's not me.
keep it going.
Gee, that's what Keith saw. I'm glad that's not me. You'd really have the membership. You know, I would second what you said. I mean, I think all our courses are in amazing shape, especially having to deal with the climate that we have to deal with in the wintertime, and then the floods and everything else. You guys, it's amazing what our people do.
We don't encourage people to play other places, but it's an eye-opener.
It's an eye-opener, and that's where we are. I get stuck playing in here. When I do go out, it's like, wow, look at this. And I get to look at the pro shop as well. I'm always trying to enhance what we have to make it better. I'll put us up from golf courses to pro shops, to our staff, up against anybody. That's where I stand, and I'm behind that. But let's get on to the good news. May rounds ended at 24,465. That's another record month, back-to-back record months in June, in May, and we're rolling this one, 7,400 over last year. What I'm liking is member rounds are going up the same as guest rounds. You know, years ago, I used to watch the member rounds are decreasing, guest rounds will go up, and the last 2 consecutive months now, April and May, both the member rounds are going up and guest rounds are going up. Year to date, we had 66,848. That's 17,400 over last year. You know, some golf courses do 17,000 in a year. And here we are, we're rocking over that from, it's just incredible. Member rounds are up for 8,800, guest rounds are up 8,600. Once again, a record month. Great weather, good conditions as we've talked about. And I love it that people are utilizing the tee sheet, getting in there and playing. It's for the members to play, it's for everybody to do it. With that said, merchandise, 121% to budget. People coming in, they're spending money, they're enjoying it, staff's doing a great job. Here we go, we all got our shirts on, it's great. Range buckets for the month of May, 8,940, 3,000 over last year. Year to date, we had 31,000. That's 9,780 over last year. I'm just blown away with the numbers. Yeah, we are looking at it and where golf is going. I got back from a little trip earlier last week, and they were looking at national averages on big golf courses, what's going on, and they've actually slowed down. They actually decreasing to 3% on average on everything. And here in Bella Vista, we're booming. And they're asking, what are you guys doing? I said, the product, the service, what we have, and the membership. I got to thank the membership and what we're doing. Get out there, play golf. And with that said, we need to book tee times on the 21st of June coming up for the longest day. I've just looked at the tee sheet. There are lots of spaces open. This is to give back to the charity. So book tee times, get on there, get people to play, call friends from out of town. That opens up for guests tomorrow to come in and book. And there's some that has filled up, but that's not where I want it to be. I want to set a record on that day. But those numbers speak for itself. It's absolutely phenomenal. That's my report on that side. I've done a little blurb on the fall for charity. Let's get out there and let's help our local charities. Just like when we had the days in the restaurants, go and buy percentage of it goes to that organization. This is for our charities. The community van needs it. Everybody needs that money. So let's do that. Anything to talk about me on this before I change my accent and go to Alex's report?
Hey, Daryl, I want to ask you, I mean, these are incredible numbers. I mean, you're up almost 30-some%. Just keeps going. What happens in like 2 or 3 years? I mean, just keep on that pace. I mean, is there enough tee times to keep this growth? I mean, every year? Because I mean, we're at 30%. It keeps going up higher and higher.
There won't be. There won't be. We're gonna have to see what happens. That's where we're at. I
We're
mean,
gonna hit a wall.
it is.
That's what, I mean, it's incredible growth.
It's incredible.
I get to put my 2 cents in right here because I was given a chance. As we continue to do that, we're gonna have to look very seriously at committing to more maintenance opportunities to aerify and do things to maintain that turf, because that's some of this stuff that we're seeing, fairways in particular, is still left over from COVID and individual carts.
Numbers.
So we're gonna have to up our game and the time to do what we need to do.
And then to get your deal, when we get to where we can't fit them on a golf course, we're gonna have to think of something else. All right, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right? It's a good problem to have right now.
Very time.
And this is probably a topic for another day, but I know it's a slippery slope as to how do we price the non-members. But it might be something we look at as we get more and more rounds played, that we raise that non-member fee, because it's still much lower than anywhere else you're gonna get it in all of Northwest Arkansas. And when I know we have golf groups coming down from Kansas City or coming over from Tulsa, they just can't believe how cheap it is for non-members. And so again, you wanna make sure that we have non-members enjoying our experience. And it's something I think we need to address as we need more funds for maintenance, as we need more spots open for our members to play too.
Yeah, we bumped it this year.
Yeah.
And didn't stop it. We bumped it 3. Then we'll probably bump it 24. We'll probably bump it 25. But that'll be a management decision when we get down to the top. All right, moving on. Let's talk Alex. First of all, Alex is in the pro shop checking people in. So he is busy. He's gonna miss all you guys. He said first things, the 4-ball last weekend was phenomenal. We had 22 teams. They had a great time. We watched somebody post on Facebook on this winning trophy, drinking a beer out of the trophy on the deck of Scottsdale. It was awesome.
That wasn't me.
You know, and we want to grow it next year. I think that was the first time we've ever tried an event like that, and he was very tickled to how it went. And I've already had people that missed it just because they didn't want to try something new. Said, man, I should have got in on that. And I said, yeah, you should have. You got to jump on this new thing. So
let me comment on that real quick. I played in it, and you know, I picked a great partner in Craig Paquette, and we won the senior division. He won the senior division. I went along for the ride, and it was a great time. And I'll tell you, it was first class. You not only got to play 2 rounds, but we got a golf glove. The awards were tremendous. The trophy they gave us is really, really cool. My wife's using it for a flower pot now, so it's really nice. But it was a first-class event, and I think it could grow. I think it should grow. I think this is something we need to talk about amongst our groups and things like that. It could be a great way to do a member guest. It's a tremendous format, and we could double it, triple it, and I think it would, you know, I think it warrants it because it's a really cool tournament.
Thank you, and that's what we got to do, and that's what Alex told me. We try things, we've tried things for the last 7 years, some stick, some don't. But it really realized when we do something like this, is the people that played in it to promote it, talk about it, get them going, and the groups say, hey, you guys have got to play in this, bring a guest in, do it, and that's how it's going to grow, so it sticks. We're not giving up on it, we'll definitely do it next year. So that's phenomenal. We do have junior camp going on, started this morning. So it was packed. We had the rain come in. We held them off a little bit, and then we got out there and had a great time. So by Saturday, all 5 of us pros are going to be wore out. It's full. Our July camp has got a few spots left. We're probably going to have to get another pro in there. We're looking at about 60 kids in July, which is a bunch out on the deal, but we'll make it happen. What was really nice is we had some members out there, and they were driving by and like, this is so good to see. This kid's going around having a good time. So that's great. All in the Family registration is out there. Friends of Highlands registration out there, and Alzheimer's is out there as well on the 24th. That's not this weekend, next weekend. So we're ramping up. Things are great. Things are busy. Conditions are good. And Alex is very happy. There we go.
Well, I'm so encouraged by the level of junior play that we're getting now in Bella Vista. And to see junior golf grow the way it has just in the last 5 or 6 years, you know, I'd like to thank again all the guys that play in my Futures Cup, and you know, it's tremendous that we give back. But I think what's cool is we're starting to see in Bella Vista that this is not a retirement community, that we do have a lot of young people that live here, and we're doing a lot of things that are good for them. And you know, the range balls and Brittany being able to play there, and now these junior golf camps. So hats off to you and your staff, Daryl, for, you know, committing so many hours. I mean, I know that takes a lot of work and a lot of patience. So thanks a lot for what you guys are doing.
You're welcome.
Anything else for Alex?
One other comment for Daryl. My wife and I were coming back from our department store, Walmart. We were coming back. Wow. We were coming back down the highway, and at Kingswood on number 16, one of them right along the highway after you get through with the bathrooms or restrooms. And we looked over there, and there were 2 little boys out there playing golf by themselves. They were probably 10, maybe 12 at the most. One of them was a little taller than the others, maybe brothers even. They had their bags over their shoulders, and they were trudging up there to the green, and here's Mama over there on the cart path. She's not playing, she's just walking along with them. And that, you know, this makes it, you know, for the junior golf part of it. So it's here. We need to just take it and run with it with them.
Anything else for tournaments? Okay, moving on to Tom.
This is covered later on in the agenda, but if you don't
Go
mind,
ahead.
I'll jump in. It's that time of year for budgets. We're already talking about 2024. So we are asking that the committee submit their recommendations by the end of August. Please make sure you force rank those recommendations so we can know what is most important and then go down from there. It doesn't necessarily have to be capital items. It could be, you know, smaller items. It could be operational items and so forth. It could be, hey, I want you to start offering these merchandise things in the pro shop. You know, it could be even those all the way down to that. So typically it's large ticket items, but it doesn't have to be. And that's it. So if you can get those, all that work done before the end of August, we'd really appreciate it.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit about that later. Anything from the board liaisons? And we have new liaisons this time, Jerry Barron, Jeff Hendren, and Jason Lloyd. Do we have anything that you'd like to offer, guys?
I would, more as a member perspective than a board. You know, we have a blessed amount of people that work here across all of POA, food and beverage, recs, pools, everything. Kind of like Armstrong said a little bit ago, Highlands is where I play, where I live. And huge shout out to that crew out there, from the operations people, Alex and his team, Greg and his people, But I want to do a little special one to a young man that's always got a smile on his face, always goes above and beyond, and that's Cameron that works out there. He's doing one heck of a job. He always greets me with a smile. I've seen him work some challenging things very professionally as a young man, so just wanted to say shout out to him. So, good stuff.
Anything else from the other two? Okay, and how about from the general audience? Any comments? Bill? The mic, please. The mic, please.
I'm tied in pretty tight with the Friends of Dogwood and have been ever since the inception of it years ago. And over the years, we put a fair amount of work and money, money we've raised into Dogwood and Brittany. There's an area in front of the golf shop, between the golf shop and the cart barns, that is in terrible shape, the ground. The blacktop is gone in some places. It's been like that for several years. It was like that when Paul Gomez was out there managing, so it's gone on for some years now, and it needs to be replaced. But that's the first thing that these new golfers or these visitors see, okay. And it's pretty sad.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Okay. Any other comments before I move on? Daryl alluded to the fact that the golf charity challenge is coming up. You've probably seen this advertisement several places. Rounds are now coming in. Green teams are now coming in, and now it's open to guests. Tomorrow it opens, right? Okay.
And because they get 7 days out.
So if you want priority, you need to get in before that, and so guests. The second part of this is after the Bella Vista Foundation is running a silent auction at the same time, but it will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday right here in the country club. They'll be outside here in the country club. Along the same line, they've also put together a Sock-a-Toomy. That's what this is. On the golf carts, we're going to have people on number 1 and number 18. On number 1, they'll simply go to your golf cart. Here, Keith, just hold that right there, please, and thank you. Okay, they'll simply go to your golf cart. They'll put this stocking on your golf cart, a little bit easier than I'm doing it, and that's where it will stay. And so the people who are playing then have access to donate in the stocking as they play, instead of giving each other money as they have their little bet or whatever they have, or their charity, whatever they want to do. We hope they donate it here. And the charities, remember, are the Bella Vista Animal Shelter, the Boys and Girls Club, the Community Television, the Courtesy Band, and Historical Society. All 5 are Bella Vista charities. When you come around to number 18, they'll simply take it off. And so there's no additional. The question has come up several times. What in addition do I have to pay? You pay your regular green fee. That's all you're paying. You're not paying any extra to play that day, but we hope you bring a buddy or bring a friend or somebody along with you to play that maybe doesn't play here. And then we'll have the stockings on the carts themselves. And so that will be another way to donate. There'll also be an app on here. Is it called a QR code? QR code for all of you people who are a little more advanced on this than I am. Now, come on, folks, I do a pretty good job. They will have that available too if you'd like to donate that way. So we'll take care of it. But the foundation, along with the POA, is putting on the day, and it's helping the charities. And as you can see, they're all 5 Bella Vista charities that need our help, and it will stay right here. And so that's the best part of it. So I think that that's a good event that you can participate in. And I also need about 8 to 10 volunteers on that day, and I'm going to put another blurb out on the individual places we need them. We need 1 or 2 here or 1 or 2 there, whatever the case may be. But I've got about 120 already signed up. I need about 8 to 10 more. And so we hope to get those filled in. Okay, moving right along. This is the last meeting for the 3 members who are not continuing next year. Jeff Hendren has moved to the board. Sheila Heward and Mike Houston decided not to go for another 3-year term. We appreciate and we thank you for your past 3 years. You've done a good job in representing yourselves as well as the golf community, and we thank you and appreciate all your work. Okay, Dave DeGraff has decided he wants to go another 3 years, and we did vote, and Dave DeGraff is going another 3 years with recommendations from the board. So we will send to the board, they have the final say, we'll send to the board Dave's name for consideration next week, and to continue another 3-year term, okay? And the other 3 positions we had open, there were 6 applicants that applied for the 3-year term. In addition to the general application, that each was asked to reply to the following items. What were 2 things that made you want to apply for the Golf Advisory Committee? What makes you a good fit for the committee? And identify 1 area you feel the golfing experience might be improved in Bella Vista. Those are the 3 areas we asked them to, so that everybody had the same questions or the same statements. And they replied to those, we got those back, and the group that are returning has voted for next year, and the 3 new members that we're sending to the board for approval, and I have these written out for you. 3 members we're sending to the board is Jim Estes, Brad Lawrence, and Kimala Mullen are the 3 candidates we're sending to the board. We would like to thank all 6 applicants and appreciate their willingness to apply for the golf committee and what they do for their golf community. Okay, and you get, I think you can have these. I've had a few notes on that, so. Okay, moving right along. The 24 budget, as Tom talked about earlier, we will be sending out an email as to what kind of things we're looking for and some ideas that we'll throw out at the next meeting. So that we'll bring ideas, so be thinking about them as we go. We'll bring ideas back to the next meeting. After that meeting, we will have a separate meeting and discuss in detail and kind of narrow it down so that at the August meeting itself, we can finalize our plans to get to the board so that they have them by August 31st. So if we accept that and everybody understands that. And for right now, if you're doing a facilities report, keep the same one you have for next month. And then we'll switch after next month, okay? Anything else for the good of the cause? Okay, announcements, the next regular meeting is Wednesday, July 12th, right here in the boardroom. Nothing more, we stand adjourned. Thanks.